initially, when I was really young, I used to get my texts into Braille. But even for that, my mother used to type my textbooks in Braille and she would give it to me. My parents, from the very beginning, had this strong desire that I should study in a normal school because, as I told you before, they never saw me as a different person. So for my 12th CBSE board, I got 496 out of 500, and I'm the topper in the category of children with special needs. I am 100% blind. I can see a little, I can see colors, and I can see that there are people, but I can't really identify them. And I can read big letters that I can read those. But medically, I am 100% blind. Initially, when I was really young, I used to get my texts into Braille, but even for that, my mother used to type my textbooks in Braille and she would give it to me. We did not have any other option at that time, so my mother used to use the Braille printer to type out each of my chapters. And when I was young, I used to take notes in Braille. And in 8th standard, I shifted to using the computer in class. Even before that, in 6th standard, I had shifted to using the computer for my studies at home. Started using computer in school. I took down all my notes in the Word document, and then I would take a printout of my notes and my teachers would correct it. And even for my exams, I wrote my exams on the computer using a software called NVDA. CBSE textbooks are generally available in PDF format in the net. And that's how I downloaded the PDF format textbooks and I studied them. But the problem that I encountered was, I think these PDF copies are scanned copies of the physical textbook. I'm not really sure about that, but maybe because of this, there were many errors and inaccuracies in the textbook. Sometimes it was just a few, but then it was not like as perfect as a physical textbook. And often when it came to diagrams and maps and science and social science textbooks, my PDF format textbooks did not have any written explanation for that. And for maths, the PDF format textbooks were not helpful for me. It was not accessible at all. So I had to my mother had to teach me maths, and then in 9th and 10th, I had a tuition teacher who taught me math. My transition towards using technology was very slow. So I think Braille textbooks are not really a big necessity now, but they should provide digital books that are more accessible. So when online classes started, my school chose the platform of Microsoft Teams. And when I contacted other visually impaired people, they told me that Microsoft Teams is not fully accessible for the blind. So initially, I found it a little difficult getting used to Microsoft Teams. And many things like uploading my answer sheets or uploading my assignments, I could not do it on my own. I had to take the help of my brothers or my parents to do it. So in that way, online learning was a small disadvantage for me. In the beginning, when we were all children, I was the only different person. I was the only special child in a class full of normal children. And so obviously they were curious about my eyes and they would tease me, make fun of me, they would avoid me. I was bullied when I was young. But as we started growing older, everyone, even me and my friends, we started maturing. So the bullying phase was kind of done away with. But what I've noticed is that most of my friends, when they interact with me, there is a degree of formality. There is a distance that they keep between me and them, and I've never been able to reach that kind of informality with many of my classmates. But that doesn't mean that I don't have good friends. I have really good friends, but they are very few. I'm not a person who makes friends easily, so I have a very small friend circle. And for them, it doesn't matter that I am blind. It doesn't matter uh, that I compose songs, I write, I get good marks for my exams. Nothing matters to them. To them, I'm just Hannah, their best friend. So that's how they treat me. And the only thing that I want to say is don't treat them differently. Don't swaddle them in clothes and keep them, make them sit still, keep them like statues on a showcase. Give them the same exposure that normal children are being given. My parents from the very beginning had this strong desire that I should study in a normal school, because as I told you before, they never saw me as a different person. They always wanted me to have the same opportunities as other children. And uh, usually when a child is born with disabilities, parents take the decision not to have any more children, so that they can focus their entire attention, their whole life on bringing up this child, showering him with everything that he needs. But after me, my parents had two more children. I have two younger brothers, and my parents never saw me as someone who stood out from them. I was just one among their three children, and all of us were equally special to them. And this is the main thing that inspired them to choose a normal school for me. A special school is a very sheltered atmosphere. If it's a blind school that I go to, then every day I'll be seeing children who look like me. My best friends will be children who look like me, who have shared the same experiences as I am. Nobody will tease me, nobody will make fun of me. I can run in as many races as I want to. Everything will be made easy for me. But after 10 years, when I step out of this special school, I'm going to face a world which is full of people who see me as different. There, I will stand out and I will find it difficult to adjust, because I have been sheltered for all these years. Throughout my entire childhood and adolescence, I have been sheltered, and suddenly, one fine day, I am in the outside world and I'll find it difficult to fit in. I got admission in the University of Notre Dame. It's a very prestigious college in the US, and it's really famous for psychology. And I'll be leaving for the university this August. I'm leaving for the US on August 9th. The classes start there on August 23rd. And another thing is the university is incredibly supportive. They've connected me to other students who are like me, and they ensured me that just like those students, I also will be able to succeed. And they connected me to the disability center there, and they've already sent me all my textbooks in an accessible format. They have made sure that my dormitory is closer to the campus, it's centrally located. Even to the very small details, they have made sure that I feel comfortable. And I'm also confident that if ever I have anything that I want, I can go to them and they'll sort it out for me somehow. So, if the university hadn't been this welcoming, maybe the tension would have been higher. But because they are so inclusive and welcoming, even me and my parents are much more relaxed. In the university, I am planning to major in psychology and minor in creative writing and music. So these are the three things that I always want to do in life: become a psychologist and choose it as a career, write songs for Jesus, and write stories that inspire people. These are the three big aims of my life. So I'm glad that I have the opportunity to study all three of them during the next 4 years. From the time I was born, you have been with me through my troubles, through my happiness. Your love was with me. Thank you, Jesus, for your love. Thank you, Jesus, for what you are.